personal art stream. You've been following him, you know him, you love him, and now he has a mohawk. Steven, how are you doing today?
I'm doing excellent, Chris. Thank you. Yes, today's show is dedicated to my haircut. We're calling it the wolf, the lion, and the hawk.
I like it.
I do. It's actually grown out a couple weeks. I did this a while back. So, Chris, anything we want to talk about? What's going on, or is it all under wraps because we're getting ready to make big announcements in the weeks to come?
I think there are a few announcements we can talk about. Spanish language localization, that is all the text in-game, is in testing right now. That's very exciting. And additionally, on top of the Spanish, we also have the Mac version is in testing, and both those are going to be out in just a few weeks once we get all the bugs hammered out, make sure they meet the quality bar we have set forth. And of course, there's also this secret gray box prototype game mode that is sort of under wraps, and it's coming together very nicely, very quickly. So we'd like to say more about that, but it's so much more fun to have a surprise, don't you think?
I do. So, Viva Espanol and Viva Mac coming at you in just a couple of weeks. So if you've been chomping at the bit to play 5 Guardians of David on the Macintosh, you're going to be able to do that. And if you're interested in the game, but you prefer Spanish, that's coming too. Looking forward to that. Alright, so today we're going to do a little bit of concepting, and we're just going to go live. I'm actually in the mood to do desert canyons, and I'll show you why here in a moment. I'm going to switch over to the scene. There we go. And probably should have sized this. That looks pretty good. So 2 years ago, I took my girl down to Big Bend and Marfa and Chibolo Creek Ranch and did some sightseeing. And this is one of the shots. I actually came across this recently, and I love it. This canyon here down in Big Bend is just gorgeous. So that, along with some Google reference, which isn't becoming as, or I should say, isn't as helpful as it used to be. I've got a lot of beautiful canyon shots, but I really don't have anything that's at eye level. So I'm just gonna pick something that's got some interesting shapes. I don't know, that's kind of cool. Chris, you seeing anything that strikes you as, hey, that's awesome, we should do that?
Well, I'm a color guy, so I like the vegetation shots. I like the bright lighting and the shadows. Obviously the colors of the sun, and of course clouds, because I know you're a good cloud guy. But otherwise, I like to let the artist take control, but I'm good when it comes to like, hey, pretty cool colors here, some pretty neat stuff.
Alright, so I'm going to go vertical, just because it is a canyon piece. And let me adjust this. If I'm drawing, I've got a really messy kitchen, so I'm trying not to show the kitchen. Oh, too late.
Yeah.
Wow.
And having some burritos and stuff, can't just
And this camera, Microsoft just had an update for the Microsoft camera, and it still does this autofocus thing, and it won't let you turn off the autofocus. So don't buy Microsoft cameras.
Blasphemy. Although I'm a fan of Logitech stuff, so.
Okay.
Next week we'll have The Wolf and the Lamb, which will be you cooking lamb.
Is that it?
Yeah, I think so. That sounds good. I think it'll be the Stephen Donnelly Cookie Show.
Wow, I haven't cooked lamb in yeah, a long time.
It seems oddly appropriate for, you know, the content.
Don't
Lamb's popular in the region.
Yeah.
That or camel. One of those two. Those are pretty much your only choices.
I had horse when I was in Sicily. It's okay. Beef is better.
Do you know the difference between lamb and mutton?
I think it is a part of the lamb. I don't know. We have anyone in the community with us today? Maybe they happen to be an expert on lamb and mutton?
Well, I can tell you. It's just going to upset you.
Okay, go ahead.
So lamb is similar to veal.
Okay.
Mutton is like beef. So mutton is essentially an adult sheep. Lamb would be a veal-aged sheep.
Oh.
There's your depressing fact for the day of why you probably shouldn't eat lamb. Or you should eat lamb, depending on your personality. I don't know if you're chaotic evil or whatever, but I think it's turned me off lamb. Although I will try mutton.
Way to bring in the D&D reference.
I have to. That's what we do.
It is. Alright, so...
Starting here with some blacks, or you just
Yeah.
trying to get that feel of the canyon right here, or some lighting, or what's going on?
I'm just starting with shapes. And one of the things that I want to do with the canyon is just convey this claustrophobic corridor that you're walking through. And so some of the things that are important is that these shapes have a weight to them. Like they look like they're going to fall over on you. And the reason you want to do that is it gives it a sense of foreboding. Like, oh, I'm going into the spooky canyon, it could be dangerous. And that's just simple shape psychology. And if you wanted it to, you know, be happy rolling hills, or a reveal of, oh look, it's the promised land, that kind of thing, you have the lines going the other direction, so it's open and inviting.
So are you going dark and spooky and foreboding as usual, or are you going to make something more inviting today?
Let's go dark and spooky. And the reason we go dark and spooky a lot in games is because you want to create or at least our desire is to create a heroic experience. And to have that heroic experience, and Chris, I know you can speak to this much better than I can, you need to have challenges.
Yes. Well, I mean, Batman vs. Superman came out, some poor reviews. I am personally not a fan of Superman, because I find him to be a very weak hero. And the reason he's a weak hero is, ironically, because he's too powerful. Superman's weakness is a strange space rock that is out in the middle of nowhere, not found on Earth in any place, so you have to find the magical space rock. But what can Superman do? He can fly, he has heat vision, he's the Man of Steel, he can do all this stuff. And it makes him overall a very boring character, because he seems too powerful. So when you deal with heroes, think as simple as Beowulf, if you're going to go really far back in time. Or think David. That's another good example. Find a hero who has weaknesses. David had no armor. David was untested in battle. He was just a little boy. He's facing someone much taller than him, much more experienced in battle, the champion. That's a much more interesting story to tell, because you're dealing with someone who's weak, who's not powerful, and they're out of their element. And I think you'll notice that stories you really like, and I think this is why Batman tends to be so popular, is because at the end of the day, he's just a dude. He can get his back broken, he can get his arm broken, he can get shot. Like, he suffers anything a human would suffer from, and as such, he's facing people like Killer Croc, or, Sandman, or the other guy with the pit.
Joker?
The daughter. Can't remember his name. Anyway, people with mystical powers and things, and he's just a human at the end of the day. And that's what makes them a more compelling character, is the weakness that they have to face the challenge and they have to actually triumph. Whereas Superman would probably just jump over the challenge and move on. Everyone would say, hey, that was not that exciting. The anti-climax. You want to avoid that as much as possible. You want to have a severe climax, that dark point where your hero, you think they're not going to make it, you think Napoleon Dynamite will never find the girl, and you think he's going to embarrass himself, and then he gets on stage and he dances, and it's actually the best dance of all time. You're like, wow, Napoleon Dynamite's not a loser. Now you feel good, because you know the biggest loser can even turn himself around and dance and be the king. There's a little spiel on challenge and hero. Now you know.
I am impressed.
As the canyons continue.
Dude, that was awesome.
I love storytelling, what can I say?
Very good at it.
So where are these canyons located? Or are you allowed to say? Are we still in Canaan? Are we branching out?
Oh no, we're in Canaan, and we're actually going east. But it's all desert until you get to, I'm not sure which one's closer, the Tigris or the Euphrates. So,
Lives in Egypt.
and I would say up into Aramea, which is known as Syria today.
The Tigris is in Turkey.
That's the headwater of the Tigris.
Okay. Where does it go? And it's 1,100 miles long.
It's a long river.
Yes, it is. Alright, so we have the Tigris and the Euphrates. Iraq? No, it's in Syria. Okay. So we're branching out, looks like, to the east. You're branching out east into present-day Syria, Iraq, Turkey.
Correct.
Sound about right?
It does.
And what happens in these lands, dare I ask?
I don't think we can talk about that yet.
Surprise, huh? Yeah. It's all good. And already I start to see the shapes and the outlines of the canyon coming together, even as much as seeing detail in the rocks on the wall, and I am blown away once again.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's, oops. It's on the front.
Did you always paint digitally, or did you start by hand?
Oh, no, I started by hand.
What was it like to transfer? Is that like a mind-blowing thing? Could you go back and do a thing by hand by now, or are you just like, no, that takes too long, it's a waste of time?
I love to do it. You know, painting is something I very much enjoy. And I haven't done it for over a year. Last time I did it was for a charity event. I donated a painting to Austin Children's Services here in town. They help kids and families in needs. They got a great program. I donated it for a silent auction for a charity event.
How should it sell for? Is that a secret?
I want to say like $350, $320 or something.
1,000?
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Very good, man. That's impressive.
No, like $350.
That's not bad. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no.
And the charity got some stuff, and that's...
Exactly.
You helped the world.
That's right. And someone has an original Daniele hanging on the wall.
Is that the same charity that you work with? Children's charity?
Yes, I
different
used to. I didn't do it this last year because I got so busy, but the year before I did. Okay.
And what is their claim to fame? What is their mission statement?
So, Austin Children's Services is so if there is a domestic violence issue or children are in danger and the police have to pull the kids out and take them to safety, they take them to Austin Children's Services.
Oh, great.
So it's
It's a good
kind
charity.
It is, and they're very special. They actually do fostering now, but their program goes till 22. They also help young mothers, teen mothers, that sort of thing. And they have all sorts of training and education programs. So, you know, if you're a first-time mom, you've got a place for you and your kid to live, to be safe, and you don't have means to take care of yourself or your baby, they're going to help. And yeah, it's actually a really cool place. I donated a couch to them, sleeper sofa, and I helped them paint a wall one day. And if it's the kind of thing that you're interested in, you can actually reach out and get a tour, and they will find a way for you to help.
It's Austin Children's what?
Services.
Austin Children's Services.
Yes.
Brilliant. Why don't you just go paint a canyon on their walls? What are you doing?
I'm going to lighten up these dark rocks here. I'm thinking we just call that done. What do you think?
I like it. I'm into it.
Okay, there's yeah, I gotta see where I get the. There we go. Yeah. So there's a whole bottom section here that you're not seeing because it's vertical. But so there's more ground, so it balances out properly.
Now, was there graffiti in 2000 BCE? Or no, not so much.
Probably not. Well, you know, there's actually a lot of graffiti in Rome, as I understand it.
And maybe we can graffiti a little Abishai somewhere.
There you go.
Abishai, I guess it would be Joshua Beam. He's a jokester, right? But little Joshua Beam was here. Little Calvin and Hobbes Joshua Beam.
That's actually kind of funny. Maybe we should do that.
That's actually what I really liked about Rise, was they had all the graffiti. Like, everyone was making fun of Nero. Calling him fat and stuff. Drawing, like, pig nostrils on him.
Awesome.
It's all over the city. Just little weird places. People are just putting up sketches of Nero. Having him dancing with a fiddle, the devil's tail, all sorts of stuff. Yeah, he was not, people of Rome did not like Nero, as far as I could tell.
Can you blame him?
No, probably not.
Okay. So I'm going to add some light in here. Be selective about where I'm putting that. And you'll see that I'm using kind of the brush. So it's big, and then in this area where the light's focused, it's also very detailed, getting those lines. Maybe we'll just hit the edge of this guy a bit.
So the light's kind of coming in at an upwards angle, downwards angle I should say, in the background it looks like.
Yep. What I'm going to do back here is just throw in some light there. And then if I remember right, yeah, I'm just going to hit all of this stuff up here. I'm going to put my Bob Ross Happy Squirrel little nest up here.
You a Bob Ross fan? He's kind of a phenomenon back in the 90s, right? I mean, 80s, 90s.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to make fun of him in art school, but the man has a business, and you know, he's passed on, and actually occasionally I've seen him on Hulu, which always made me laugh. Yeah, he passed away a few years ago. So now everyone's like, woohoo, Bob Ross.
That's appreciated.
Yeah,
well, Twitch did I think they did a week of 24-hour Bob Ross streams.
Oh, that's awesome.
They did it for a week. I think they did a repeat of it actually.
I
Forgot, and then I forgot what the sequel to that was. Was Martha Stewart? Something like that. Some cooking show, I think, or something after that.
I like Martha.
Should give you a heads up. One of your favorites, Brothers Tale of Two Sons, is on it's in the new Humble Bundle this week.
Ooh, nice.
For $1.
Wow.
$1.
Man, if you haven't played that game, and if you are looking for something that is deep, thought-provoking, and you want to play with your kids, or you want your kids to play it, I cannot say enough about that game.
That's one that a lot of people have asked me about. And I just say, well, it made me cry. Does that count? And they're like, okay, I'll play it. So there you go. So it's a really fantastic game. It's a good example of how you tell a story without words, and I think that's something people don't really ever grasp the concept of.
Right.
You can tell a story without words. Best example would be like Pixar shorts that they used to do. I don't really think they do them that much anymore.
Actually, I think they just came out with one about a bird. I just saw something about it, and they said it's the best one in years.
Yeah, and I bet it has no dialogue in it. They're pretty good with storytelling. They really understand how to. Here's visually how you tell a story in 3 minutes. You tell a whole story. 3 minutes is all you need. Brothers Tale of Two Sons, I think it was like 6 hours maybe. Lots of puzzles, cool boss fights.
I never finished it, but I was emotionally engrossed. No, I have this thing where like these amazing games, I start playing them.
It's a killer ending. Can't believe you didn't beat it. Wow.
Don't tell me about it, because maybe one day I'll go back. I've still got it.
I need to sit you down and give you a list. You give me a list of foreign films that I need to watch, and I'll give you a list of games that you need to finish.
I like that. Actually, Talos Principle is something that I want to make time for.
Yeah, and you're gonna need time. Some of those puzzles are difficult. Very, very difficult. That's fantastic. I think they did a proof point. Like, that is the, I want to call it a sister piece to Portal, to say, alright, here's Portal is the goofy way to tell a story, like goofy, lighthearted sci-fi. I almost want to say like Airplane-esque at parts, whereas Talos is that's your drama puzzle storytelling game.
That's awesome.
Just I will say in the DLC, it becomes a point where you're reading in-game web forums and playing like MUDs and text adventure games.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, and if you can get me to play a text adventure game inside of a 3D beautiful game, you think you're doing something right. I don't know what you're doing, but very impressive game.
That's awesome. Alright, so I need to lighten this up a bit here. Just get some of that edge. We'll do something here. Alright, does that look like a Rocky Canyon wall?
Yeah. Looks like something out of Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider!
Yeah.
Like me some Tomb Raider.
I have to get back. I was really enjoying. Well, I shouldn't say that. I was not enjoying the most recent one as much as I enjoyed the last one. It's really solid for sure, and it's one of the best looking games I've ever played. But
there is a. Did you get to the point where you're under the ice and you have to pop up out of the ice and pull the guys down?
If that's in the very beginning, yes.
No, it's once you get to the Russian facility controlled by, what is it, Trinity is their super evil organization?
Yeah, I got
Illuminati?
to like the second hub world, I think.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. I'm somewhere in the forest, and there's just a lot of side quests, and I just keep getting sidetracked and confused. No, actually, I think I stopped at a boss fight with a flamethrower guy. I don't remember. I was enjoying it though. It was fun, but it didn't. It felt very similar. It felt more like an expansion to the last one than a new game, I guess.
I would agree with that, but I am in this industry because of my love for Tomb Raider, so.
Specifically Laura, or just the game in general?
Oh, the game
Or
in general.
a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B?
No, actually, all column B. Someone had given me the original one on like 3.5-inch floppies back in the 90s. He's like, hey, you got to play this. And I finally loaded it up, and I'm like, okay, so it's modern day Indiana Jones with hot looking lady. I'm a huge Indiana Jones fan, but the idea that you just wander around and explore and solve puzzles and move at your own pace in third person perspective, it was, up until then I'd only played like Day of the Tentacle and what's the pirate one that Lucas
Monkey Island.
Monkey Island and
Yeah.
Indiana Jones, that kind of thing. So seeing that, I was just like, wow, if these graphics ever get to the point where they look good, that's it. This is the future. And so I kept thinking about it. I actually played through a couple times. Played through with my son, actually the anniversary edition. That was interesting. So the perspective changes because when you go through again, you end up killing all these endangered species because they attack you. And that's one thing I wish they had done, like not have the wolves attack you unless you attack them. I would rather have been able to like feed the wolves or something.
Reminds me, in Resident Evil 4, there's a dog, and it's caught in a bear trap. So you could shoot the dog, you could ignore the dog, or you could free the dog from the bear trap. And if you free the dog from the bear trap, on the first boss fight, the dog comes in and saves you. And backs you up. It's like, that's a cool little thing they didn't need to put in the game. It's like, that adds a lot. I remember that's one of the most memorable things about that game to me.
That's awesome.
This little dog. It's like, So yeah, that would be interesting if you could feed the Vorpal chicken and then
The purple chicken
have it like just come back at a later level and just annihilate the final boss.
Do you think we could get the designers to buy off on that?
I think it's off-brand, but say it was an accident. Just say it's a bug and we'll just never fix it.
Okay. We need a partner in crime to help us pull this off.
Hey, I'll see what I can do. I'll round some people up. Cause some issues. Well, have you... Now this is actually pretty exciting. I kind of want you to go buy a Vive, because you have a powerful machine.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm fascinated by Google's painting platform. Are you aware of that?
Is this part of the Lumberyard package?
No, this is
Google. I'm sorry, not Amazon.
Yeah, this is Steam's VR headset. They partner with HTC. It's called the Vive.
Okay.
It's you set up cameras. You basically create a 15-foot square where you can walk around in VR. But Google made an app for it called Tilt Brush, which is a three-dimensional painting app. So you can paint in 3D space with these handles, essentially, and paint in VR. So they got the guy who created the original drawings for The Little Mermaid and all these other Disney films,
Mm-hmm.
and they gave it to him, and they're just like, all right, so we want you to paint Disney characters in VR. So he started doing it, and it just came out 2 days ago, and there's some really cool stuff already coming out, so I'd really like you to get your hands on one.
All right, let's talk to James and set it up. Heck yeah, paint in VR.
They just cost $800. It's not a cheap setup, but it's pretty amazing.
Aww.
It is absolutely amazing. So you should check it out. You should,
Can you send me a link?
yeah, I would be at your house all the time if you bought a Vive, because I can't afford it, but it'd be fascinating to...
I can't either.
Yeah, I know, right? $1,000 just out of pocket for hardware is a little expensive right now.
Yeah, it is, but it's going to come down. I remember, oh God, I'm so dating myself, when, VCRs. So I was a little kid when the VCRs became a thing, and they were like $2,500 to start, and
Really?
then yeah, DVD players and stuff. Everything.
I remember DVD players being ridiculously expensive.
Oh yeah, it's So I'm trying to think. So 5 years ago, I bought a 55-inch flat screen TV. Cost me $2,100.
That sounds about right, yeah.
I bought one a year ago. No, maybe 2 years ago. Cost me 650 and change. I was gonna say I got a Sony last time. This time I got a Samsung, and everything about it I think is identical. So it's like, and I'm sure that price has come down. They always do.
Yeah, I remember the PS3 launched at $600,
Oh yeah,
and like that seems ridiculous.
right.
I think they came down on the price a year later to 400. I think they just price dropped to Xbone too.
Did they
I believe so.
have quantum? What is that? Quantum
Quantum
break
Break.
shift? Yeah.
That's actually an interesting one. I'm a huge fan of Remedy. Their creative director's name is Sam Lake. You might know him because he's the face of Max Payne. He's the man that studied screenwriting and got into game development somehow. So he is the creator of Max Payne, Alan Wake. He's a very, very impressive guy. He really gets into his characters, studies something, and really goes for a theme. Max Payne, he went for the film noir kind of broken cop, John Woo kind of feel. And then you have Alan Wake, which is this Stephen King Twilight Zone feel, and it's just he really finds great. I don't want to say references as much as reference material that turns into really solid theme work, and just really, really good games, really solid narratives. So Quantum Break is his new creation, but no Steam, so I'm having to hold off on it for now. It's a Windows Store exclusive, which I'm not too much a fan of.
Good friend of mine, Pat Shuttlesworth, was the last art director on that project on the Microsoft side, and
Wow.
the fellow who joined us, Jeff Combos, the owner of Exile Game Studios, he was producer on that project. That was his last thing before he left Microsoft to do his own thing.
I'm very jealous they got to work with Sam Lake, because he is a rock star. He is awesome. His team is awesome. And they've consistently delivered amazing experiences.
Yeah, I'm going to pick it up because I love I've always been a fan of where games could go, and that grew out of like my initial console experience. I had started at Microsoft. I think a year later, the Xbox came out, and they gave everyone an Xbox. And a buddy of mine had said, "Hey, you got to play this game, Ico." So he let me borrow his PS2. So I'm playing Ico, and then my wife at the time and I are playing Halo cooperative on the couch, and it struck me that, wow, games really have an opportunity to become this new entertainment medium where you have an emotional story, Ico, and you have a lot of hands-on experience exploring traps, puzzles, helping, Halo and Ico, and then being able to do it with someone. It just, wow.
Yeah, Ico and Shadow of the Colossus are two games I played very briefly, and I've missed out. They've always talked about kind of remastering them and re-releasing them, but as far as I know, they haven't.
Well, if you have a PS3, I have the remastered version for the PS3 with both those in there.
I gave away all my consoles to my cousins when I moved
Well,
because I didn't want to stuff my car.
okay. Well, I'm
I
pretty
have no
sure you can
consoles.
pick up a cheap one.
Oh well, don't worry. I'm buying a PS4 in the near future because
Oh.
Ratchet and Clank just came out. But
Aren't they doing a movie?
they are doing a movie and they are doing a recreation expansion of the very first game in PlayStation 4 graphics.
That sounds
And
awesome.
this is my Star Wars. So everyone who's freaking out because Star Wars came out, they grew up with Star Wars. That's great. I grew up with Ratchet.
Aww.
So
Well,
to see
I much
him
prefer
back,
Ratchet and Clank to Star Wars. That's just
I
me.
absolutely do. Absolutely.
Uh,
I find the universe amazing. No, I'm not trying to downplay Star Wars. It's just I don't have that. I didn't grow up in the 70s, so I don't have that childlike wonder. I do remember the first time I heard a lightsaber come on and Obi-Wan Kenobi and all that stuff. It's awesome. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah.
there's definitely a deep emotional connection with Ratchet and Clank. And this movie is exciting. Is really exciting to me because I hate Pixar movies. They're a little childish for me, but
Yeah.
I think Ratchet and Clank are gonna be able to nail it. We will see though.
I love Pixar films. Oh my gosh.
Do you watch it with your son? Does he like them or no?
He's not a movie guy. I mean, certainly, like when he was little, actually, he doesn't see Star Wars, and that's just not his thing. But I took him to see Up, and if you've ever seen Up, the opening 5 minutes is the relationship between Ellie, and I can't remember the guy's name, the old man, and they can't have kids. And I'm sitting there with Nicholas, and he's probably like 3 or 4, and it took us 7.5 years to have kids before we were finally blessed. And I just, oh man, I'm sobbing. And he's looking at me like, what is your problem? And I look around, and every kid was just confused, and every adult was like fighting back tears. And just so few films can capture that humanity.
You know, that's interesting
they
you
do
say
it.
that because you would think they would avoid that kind of stuff because it's so. I don't know, it's harsh. But that is something Pixar has been famous for, though, right? Is
Right.
having levels, not being afraid to put a deeper meaning in something
Yeah.
beyond just the surface level.
Had the wrong color. I'm like, why isn't anything showing up? Sorry, man. Little moment there. Don't mind me.
Oh my God, where it's gone? It's gone. You deleted it. You broke the TV. You deleted everything you had.
No.
That's it.
All right. Oops. Chris, you got me all distracted. I'm thinking about Pixar movies. Oh, have you seen Inside Out?
No, you were telling me that was really good.
Yeah.
You were trying. You almost had me sold, and then I realized it was a Pixar movie, and I was like, I'm not gonna watch that.
No, dude, it's about growing up and leaving childhood behind and becoming an adult.
I don't want to do any of those things. Why would I ever want to become an adult or leave childhood behind?
Well,
You out of your mind?
that's why you need to see this movie. No, I just,
It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I want to stay like me. I don't want to become anyone else.
yeah, ooh, I saw that when I was a kid. It's kind of creepy.
Which one? There's like 4 of them.
The 70s one with Donald
The
Sutherland.
Donald Sutherland?
And,
Oh yeah, that's the one to watch.
Yeah, that was creepy.
That's the one that's just horrifying. There's Nicole Kidman one that's kind of eh. There's the original black and white one, which is pretty good. The ending's really good, but same issues that a lot of people of the Twilight Zone. It's, you know, acting of the 40s where it's just so overacted because everyone's a stage actor.
Right. Hey, that's why I love William Shatner. You don't see to understand.
Well, you know, when he was on Twilight Zone, he did a damn good job. So that's kind of the.
Oh yeah, he did that airplane thing.
Was that him on the airplane too?
Yeah, the ghoul at whatever, because they remade that one when they did the Twilight Zone movie.
Yeah, they did that one. No, the one I remember for him was the fortune teller box with the devil face. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen that one.
Okay, so they put a penny in their car breaks down, they get it fixed, they go to the diner. In the diner, there's a fortune teller box with a little devil face. You put in a penny, get a fortune. And the fortune teller starts predicting the future. And I don't actually remember how it ends. I think how it ends is that he gets so worried about what's going to happen that he just sits there just over and over again trying to get his fortune.
Sounds cool.
It's a good episode. Really well acted.
I remember one where it's the end of the world and this guy's got a bomb shelter. And instead of inviting people...
And he leaves everyone out, right? Just him and his daughter.
Or him and his books. Was the one I saw.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a different one. Yeah, the end of the world, and he's the bank teller, and the world explodes, but he's been hiding in the vault reading the books, and then the nuke drops, and he comes out, and everyone's gone. He's so excited, because now he has time to read his books. And then, right as he sits down to read a book, his glasses crack. Yes.
It's like, wow.
Harsh Rod Serling.
Yeah, no, I like that stuff. People are...
No, he was a teacher, actually, for, I want to say, NYU. Somewhere in New England, I want to say, somewhere up there. He was teaching English or writing for years and years and years. But, unfortunately, I think he was a heavy smoker, and I think that's what got to him.
Yeah. It was back in the day. 4 out of 5 doctors recommend smoking.
Oh, back in the day. Yeah, he died pretty young. 73? I think it's incredibly young, but... No, I'm sorry. He died at 50. Wow.
Whoa, really?
Wow.
Dude. Oh, man, that's scary. I guess I'd better...
Well, he was a heavy smoker.
I guess I better quit.
I don't know what took him out, though. That said, he's another one that's very influential on me.
Okay, look on YouTube. Maybe there's a conspiracy about it.
Chest pains, minor heart attack, and then you have second heart attack, open heart surgery, had a heart attack on the operating table while getting open heart surgery.
Aww.
Yeah, that could be cigarettes, that could be bad diet, that could be a lot of things. That could just be bad luck. Oh, man.
Okay. There's the picture. There's the canyon. It's like, cool. Alright, we got a canyon. Should probably throw some color on there, right?
Probably a good idea. I'm no expert on these things. You are the artiste, as they say.
Calling this color. Are there any plants in here? Oh yeah, those trees. I should do those trees.
You Bob Rossed it up a bit. Oh, that sounds nice. Oh, that feels real nice right over there. Oh, that'll look real good.
Alright, so I'm gonna do some trees here, and my picture again. And they're just kind of these scraggly looking dudes off to the side here. And Chris, if you're ever wondering what the secret is to drawing trees,
I am.
it's simply about making the letter Y. So, Phil. So, a buddy of mine, amazing artist, Mark Sealander, taught me this. He's like, draw a Y. And then from each one of these points, Draw another Y.
You just keep branching.
That's it. That's it. That's like, okay, so geometrically, you know, it's like, okay, that's kind of a basic tree, but we can give it a little more character.
Yeah, you could actually, you could draw that with recursion if you're really smart. Recursion is a self-referential method where it just keeps drawing the same thing over and over again. So you just have it call a Y that draws a Y at the edge of the Y over and over again, and then you have an automated tree script.
Thank you for explaining for our audience.
There you go.
They are very appreciative.
I'm sure they cannot wait to go home and pick up a recursion book and get to work.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it. Look at that. It's not bad. Okay. Do we have anyone in chat? Is this not working?
It's kind of empty today.
Okay.
I see Chelsea. Chelsea and Kill Zero. I think Kill Zero is Danielle. I'm not sure though. So yeah, slow day today.
Okay.
Very slow day.
What would Bob Ross do?
What would Bob Ross do? I think he would lick his what do you call it? Paintbrush. But I guess for you it'd be some kind of digital brush.
Yeah, I'm not licking this thing. And I don't lick paintbrushes either. That is actually, yeah, when I started painting, I had to break myself of the habit.
Let's paint, right?
Well, yeah, but usually, like with acrylic, you're thinking, oh, hey, it's acrylic, it's just plastic, no big deal. But it does have heavy metals in it, and just not a good idea.
What's the worst that could happen? Being a baby.
What's the worst that can happen? Exactly what's happening right now around our country.
Awesomeness?
No, our water supply is not what it should be. And a lot
That's a
of
big
people
problem in
are
Baltimore. The bay is toxic.
It's all from that submarine. Okay, so I'm liking where this is going, but this little gap here kind of feels a little too drawn. Not enough tree-like.
It's a very empty canyon. Very empty canyon.
It's an old riverbed.
Spooky canyon.
Should I put here? Give them spears. How's that? Those guys look scary.
Yeah.
Can you even see that?
Yeah. That's actually amazing that you can do it with that same brush. That's pretty good.
Okay. So where was I? Oh, so now I want to use one of my custom brushes. Let's see what this one does. Oh, that's eraser. Oop, that was bad. Paintbrush. Okay, I think that's going to work. So if I look at the picture again, few more, and then I'm going to grab some white. Just put a couple there where the sunlight's hitting it, and then we'll grab some gray and we'll get a little bounce light on the backside there. And come in here, erase a little bit of that away so it doesn't distract from the guys in the canyon.
The savages trying to kill you.
Savages.
Locals.
This could be a canyon anywhere. Put a little like some green grows in there. That's actually probably a little too much. I don't like that. So Control-Alt-Shift-Z is what you want to So my friend Mark that I was mentioning, he loves a perfect brush stroke, and he will sit for 5 or 10 minutes doing 20 or 30 strokes just to get it right.
Suppose you do Control Z and then do it again.
Yeah. And I was watching him, and I'm like, I thought he was crazy, but he is an amazing artist. So I will say that he's smarter than I am.
No one's smarter than you are.
Everybody's
Well,
smarter
except
than
me. I mean, I'm way smarter than you are.
No one's smarter than you, Chris.
Yeah, you can think that. But,
I do. What am I
Okay.
looking for? Okay, let's try this guy. So what I'm looking for is something that will... It's a little big. There we go. I'm not trying to create snow, but what I am trying to do is just get some tooth on these rocks, give them a little bit of noise.
a little bit of dust in that air.
Yeah. I have some good news. Next month's show I might actually be able to do in the office.
What?
Yes.
What is this twist of events?
This twist of events is that we might be getting the studio's first Cintiq.
That is very exciting.
It is. I'm like, awesome. Okay, so
It's
what
like
I
sit over your
want...
shoulder.
Yes, and watch me work.
Yeah.
So I want something that's just... Maybe this is it. I need something to just give some noise to these rocks. Actually, this is it. I don't know whose brush it is, but... Oops. That ain't gonna work. Thank you, artists. There we go. So... Ta-da! Oh, we need color. Duh. And I'll stick with gradient. What do you think? Kind of a red, and then let's cool it off, or go kind of orangish? Let's go gray. There we go.
So what is the science to finding the right color? Guessing?
Guessing.
That is a lame answer.
That is a lame answer. So we go a little more saturated. Go a little more that direction. I'm going to throw a levels layer above it. And what I'm going to do is pull out some of the black and pull out some of the white. And the reason is that I want to flatten out the image a bit and capture the color. So let's go back here. It's like really gray reflecting the white. So I'm going to throw another layer on there. I'm going to set that to overlay. And we'll, oh my gosh, I'm way down on my brushes. Oh, I like this guy. Okay, and we'll grab a kind of a bluish gray color.
And then the red canyon becomes the blue canyon.
Well, it's the, so because it's outside light, your shadow colors reflect your diffuse light source, and in this case it's going to be the blue of the sky, but because the canyon is a warm yellow color, I don't want to get too carried away with that. Get that in there. So you want some blue, but you don't want a lot of blue. Then we'll grab our tree layer that we kept. I'm going to go ahead and hide that. And then I'm going to get a really nice looking green there. And that green is just showing up on, oops, did not want it there. And wherever we've got the plants, Control D, I'm going to have another layer. I'm going to go back to that really cool plant brush and way too cool. Warm up that yellow or that green and desaturate it a bit. And as I remember, there was hints of green up here on the cliff. Yeah, it should get further up there. And put a little something right there just to frame the image a bit. Okay. And then the next thing, let's get some, really? For you Photoshop users out there, you know that whatever they've done for the new Photoshop just isn't cool.
Why is that?
Because it like messes up all the time. Locks up. Oop, too much. Does ever laugh and tell them to stop? We're live. We're working.
Yeah, I guess Scott's having a good time.
Take a little more of
We're coming up at about 60 minutes. How are you feeling? Are you going to continue on?
I'm just about finished.
Awesome.
Patience, patience, young Jedi.
Not a Padawan, I'm a Sith. How dare you?
Alright. Ta-da! Okay, folks. So today we did a canyon, and I found this picture as inspiration. This is in the Great Bend, or I'm sorry, the Big Bend area. I'll never get that name right. Let me shrink that down so it will show up on screen. it didn't work. Photoshop. Anyway, that's the image. So
Awesome.
from that image, we just did essentially a black and white study of the canyon. The important things here are that our darkest darks and our lightest lights are right next to each other, so our eye instantly goes to this middle area. And our cliffs are kind of leaning in, so there's a sense of foreboding. Threw in just a quick little layer to add some noise to the rocks, some trees, and some people with spears there in the background. Adjusted the levels to lighten the darks and darken the lights. Threw on a gradated color overlay from kind of a ochre to a putty. Threw on another color overlay to get some variation in there, some cools in the shadows. Threw in some green for the trees, and then finally a beautiful color dodge layer to just really get that glow of sunlight in the canyon.
And don't forget your enemies sneaking in the background.
How do we know they're enemies? Is everyone in the land of Canaan an enemy? I think not.
Well, they're armed. That's how I tell.
Alright. Let me switch this over. Community, thanks for joining us today. I'm Stephen Donnelly, Art Director for Kingdom Games, and I'm here with our Community Manager and Web Person Extraordinaire, Chris Bashir.
That's me.
You can find us on all social media at Kingdom Games ATX, and yeah, that's it.
We are running several promos with various people. If you use the promo code LEARN or Charisma, you can get $5 off the standalone deluxe edition of Five Guardians David on our website, kingdomgames.com/shop.
Chris, that sounds awesome. What's in the deluxe?
Awesome.
What's in the deluxe?
Always, we have big things planned for Steam, so if you prefer the Steam version, just let us know. We're always running promotions and sales, all sorts of goodies, and we love to hear and talk to you.
So we got. Have a great month. Chris will see you next week, and I'll see you beginning of May. Bye.
Thanks, everybody.